Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here today. I am gonna paint on some cards today. We're gonna play around with some metallics. Yes, they're fun to pop in, especially around the holidays. So yes, I'm so excited to be here today. Pop on the comments down below. Let me know you're here. Say hello. And let me know where you're located. Are you in somewhere warm, I hope? We've been getting snow for the last couple of days here up in Canada. I live in Goderich, Ontario. If anybody's local, that would be wonderful that you join me today because we have lots of fun in the studio here too. We've got some fun paint parties coming up. I've got a special featured one, a real special underwater one. A lot of the gang have been having fun with stencils, doing some fun and easy ones, so we're going to bump it up and make a really cool underwater scene. I actually have it outside. I should have brought it in to show you guys. But hopefully you'll see in the page, I'll be advertising it again for you guys that are local. And then yes, I've got some more fun projects coming up online on Zoom. And my monthly meet and greet. Hopefully you guys are going to join us. Hello. Serene Arts is here visiting us today. Who else do we have here? Pat, Karen. Hi, welcome from Kentucky. And thanks for joining me today. I have a fun project for you guys too that I'm going to be giving away for everybody who is here with me today live. Okay, so I have a special little instruction that I'm going to give you guys at the end there to tell you how you're going to get that live project. So yeah, just kind of hanging on here and giving you guys a few seconds to pop on and show you guys some of the cards I've been playing with and some metallics, different styles. Oh my god, we have color shift, we've got brushed metals, we've got the treasure gold series, I mean the traditional metallics. Oh my god, they're so much fun, and especially right now. And I hope that you guys are the type that like to make your own cards, because definitely now would be a great time to start making them and soon get them sent out, eh? That would be wonderful. So yeah, just checking here. Who else do we got here? Janine, Rosalind McFarland. Oh, my cousin's here from Ontario. So happy to see you here. Yeah, we're gonna do some painting, a little bit of one-stroke style. Some of you guys might be new to the one-stroke style, so definitely I do have loads and loads of videos on my YouTube. I hope you guys are checking it out. There's over 100 there now. And lots of videos to check out for sure. And then also my full program that I have in baby steps. So if you really want to hone in on your practice with your one stroke, guys, I have an amazing deal that I'm going to share with you guys as well. And yes, thank you. Love cards, love metallics, yay. Yeah, definitely is the time of year to get them out. Shilpa's here. Hey, how are you, girl? One of my sisters there in the one-stroke groups. Miss Donna Dewberry is our mentor, and always coming up with new ways to play around with things and share with us. And definitely, if you're loving the one-stroke, and I'm loving teaching, if you want to learn more about teaching, doing your own paint parties and stuff like that, please contact me. It's so much fun. And we have a gang from 8-year-olds and up that come into the studio on Thursday nights. We have an open night that we do a random variety of projects depending on the season. And then there's been a bunch of us that have been following us for a while, and Donna for a while, that are a little bit more comfortable and definitely can jump on some of the more advanced projects. So it just takes a little bit of practice, guys, and playing around, and don't be afraid. And I want to talk more about that too, like what stops you, and are you a little bit nervous? Have you never painted before? You always wanted to try? Definitely there's a lot of little bugs that, you know, have gotten into my brain through the years that stopped me, put me back, got frustrated, threw it in the closet, and then all of a sudden I saw those roses again, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta master those roses. And definitely, you know, once I got onto the bug of it and creating, and I paint on anything. I even got my t-shirt on, guys. I'm feeling a little festive here. Got my Santa on fabric. on a t-shirt. Hopefully you guys can see. I'll stand up a little bit more so you guys can see. So I have this project recorded on my site. You guys can paint on your own time. Grab a t-shirt. Patterns there for you guys. All right, so that's one of my newest ones that I just put up on my site. Sometimes I do them live with everybody. Sometimes I pre-record them. So definitely depending on the project and the time involved. Sometimes you have to let things dry a little bit. And so yeah, it would be a little harder to do in a live class. So yeah, you guys have any questions for me there that you want to tackle with you at the end of the month on our meet and greet? Sometimes we do some troubleshooting there, and definitely play around with our stroke work, and depending on the month, I try to change it up a little bit. And thank you, Tony. You like that, eh? It's really fun and easy, you know, to paint. Definitely, I step you through it, step by step. All the colors are on the PDF for you, and the patterns, so you can print it out. And the video. And you definitely, if you guys are new to my site, you know, I have two options. I have the downloadable. A lot of you guys are used to that with Donna, and downloading, and you have a space to save them all on your hard drives or wherever, Google Drives. And but a lot of people don't have access to all that, and they're loving my site member access. So I have paid pages. So once you pay for the page, you log back in, and then that page will open for you to the videos and all the PDF. And you can also download that video from that link as well. But you know, I have a lot of people telling me that sometimes they're on vacation, they're here, they're there, you know, and they don't have access to the computer where it's saved into. And so all you need is internet and get onto the Wi-Fi somewhere, and then it's really easy to pop on my site, go look at the project and play around. And or just pre-watch stuff, you know, you can binge watch stuff there when you're away, and then when you get back home, then you can sit and actually practice. So raindrops. Actually, I have a video on that there, Kathy, if you want to go check out my YouTube. We were playing on fruit, and you can add those raindrops on anything. Yeah, hopefully you guys, I'll share it in our student group. So if you guys are a part of my page, I do have a student group for people that can ask questions, share their work. And then I have a VIP group that I just started, and those are for the people that have jumped on my program, wanted a little bit more feedback and sharing with each other, because you're all on the same page. It's a wonderful little community that I just started, and hopefully guys that are scared to share your work, you know, there's only selected people in that group, and like I said, they can give you wonderful feedback too. I've got some OGs, my original gang, because I've been working on this project of my website. It's been a project, I tell you. Slowly making it better all the time, adding to the program. I've got the boot camp now added to it, and loads and loads and loads of practice for you guys. So yeah, hello. And yeah, I want to show you guys some metallics, and then also give away a free project. I'm so honored. It was just about this time of year where Donna come and talked to me and asked me if I wanted to be a feature educator with her. We did an online Christmas event a few years back with a few educators, and she asked me to teach this chickadee that I did originally with Pure Line, and we don't have that anymore. But thank God in a way, because I actually did this all with the folk art colors. So I kind of tried to match up the Pure Line to the chickadee. So, and then I added some berries and some really easy strokes for the pine needle. So let me know, you guys want to win this free? All right, you're hanging around with me here today. Definitely, you're going to pop down a comment below and let me know that you want to add this to your painting feet project lists. Yeah, awesome. Yep, so I'm going to tell you how to get it at the end, okay, guys? Because I don't want you guys to take it off on me, and going to try and get it on my site there right now. But definitely hang on to the end, and I'll show you how we're going to get this sent out to you free, okay? And all you have to do is comment, say that you were here live, okay? And then I'll let you know exactly how to get it. Shilpa, yes. Hello. Who we got here? Oh, we got Sue visiting. Hi, you just bought some metallics. Oh, yes, you're gonna have so much fun. Yes, definitely. There's a little bit of trick with them to get them really to pop out. And yeah, I want to share that with you today. And we'll do some holly berries and some poinsettias with them, and show you how I do some of my cards. I've got a few tricks that I want to share with you guys today. So yeah, let's pop myself down to the desk view here, so you guys can see that I bought these envelope packages on Amazon. You get a whole whack of them, and they come in different sizes, so just make sure that it's going to fit your envelope. And these are just standard card stocks that you can buy folded in half, right? And then I have bought some kits. Oop, I thought I had it handy here. That come in a variety of sizes and colors. I thought I had more of them here. But yeah, these come already with the envelopes, and the cards already folded in half for you. They come in more squares, a little like note cards if you wanted to send something a little smaller. So those are fun to get. You can get them at dollar stores or Dollar Tree, wherever you are. And definitely you can buy bulk cardstock and then buy the envelopes separately as well. And I got the envelope, this size envelope, actually the only place I found them were at Michael's. So yeah, you might have to shop around and get a variety. I got a big pack of variety of colors too, which was a lot of fun. So you can, and they're pretty good thickness. They're like a happy medium. They go by pounds, guys, the weight of them, the thickness. So I get you guys to buy a really cheap cardstock. It's a little bit more flimsy, but definitely great to practice on, right? And then definitely the higher quality, the higher the pound is, definitely they're going to be a tiny bit thicker. And then I ended up buying this cardstock once that was really super thick. And so yeah, I want to share a little bit about folding these guys in half, because I have shared another video about card making with you guys already before, but you know, there was a couple things that I didn't address that I'd like to share with you guys today. And when you're folding these cardstocks, especially the thicker the card, like, it really doesn't even want to bend, right? Where the thinner stuff is just bend so easy. And sometimes when you go to fold them, I showed you guys just to use a ruler, but you might get some buckling going on. So I just want to show you a little trick that I come across that definitely would help you. And you know, you can take a ruler and measure where your half mark is, and try to be precise that way. But I'm in a hurry most of the time. I want to get this done, and I'm always trying to find simpler ways of doing things, right? So this is my thickest cardstock, and if you try to fold it, you might have all these little tiny creases all over the place. So I just wanted to show you where I find my half mark here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually just score with my fingers a little bit, not score, but press down, and just kind of hit the corner. And then down here at the bottom, now this is my thickest cardstock, so it's definitely a little bit harder to hold in place. And then there's my half mark right there. Right, so I got my top and bottom. So you don't have to try to press it all the way yet, because if you go and try and press it all the way, you can see already it's starting to be all crazy inside there, and it's not going to be a nice sharp line. Alright, so if you have one of these X-Acto knives, right, I found that to be the easiest way, is that I can find my marks with my ruler, so I can just fold it slightly, just so you're seeing the top and bottom little fold areas that you... Oops, my blade fell out. This one is super sharp too. Oop, I guess I spinned it too many times. Alright, so make sure that's nice and sharp. And then one thing that you were a little bit scared about is, like, we don't want to go right through this paper. So this thick cardstock, I can definitely go this way with my sharp part of the blade and go lightly over it. But again, if you got a heavy pressure, you might go a little bit, you know, heavy on some areas. You might actually go right through the paper, and we don't want to do that. So what we want to do is just use the back side, okay, so it's not sharp, as sharp as the front side, and you're going to come down along the ruler. And definitely the thicker the cardstock, you might even want to go, over it twice slightly. Because I try this a couple times, you'll see that it's not as sharp as if you actually use the sharp part of it. But it's really nice point that you have here usually on them. And then what I do is I fold it actually backwards. And then you'll get yourself a really nice crease line. And then if you want to give it a real sharp fold mark so it stays closed for you a little bit more, then you can actually push down with your ruler or flat edge of a credit card or something, and then you'll have a really, really nice bend mark there. So does that help you guys that are having a little bit of card folding issues? Get you started with a little hack. Hey Cindy, how are ya? Love poinsettias, Kathy, thanks so much. Hey Cecilia, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while, can't wait to see you next week. Yes, we have another project coming up that's, nice and easy, and something I did a long time ago. I'll share with you guys. And yeah, keep the comments going down, guys. Share this with your friends. I think there's a share option somewhere. Make sure you let everybody know that we're on live right now to join us, because I will be giving a free project to you guys that are with me live today. Alright, so definitely want to come, and we're just going to play around with some cheap cardstock there for the beginning, and then show you a few strokes on how to do these, and then we'll play around and do some on some cards for you. Alright, and then sometimes I've messed up with the treasure golds. Sometimes I pull the brush so fast that it ended up stringing and making a mess on my card, and I wasn't happy with the elements that I put beside it. So I actually just cut one out, and then I use these little spacers that you can get, and a two-sided tape, and you can make pop-out ones with all your practice, guys. Okay, so you can get some nice cardstock. And then I also used a little bit of stenciling. Like, this is the only stencil that I found that was this small to be able to get my writing down perfect, and stencil that through. And again, I've already shared a video on how to use stencils. Hopefully, guys, you'll check that out in the list there. And then while it was wet, I pulled my stencil off really quickly, and I sprinkled a little bit of glitter on it, so it popped up just a little tiny bit of glitter on my words here as well. So very, very simple. You don't have to go crazy. Sometimes, less is better. And then some of these cardstocks are dark, and if people don't have like a marker that might show up on them, especially if you are painting on black or some of these dark ones. So I just grab one of my other cardstocks, cut it in 4, and then glue a little spot on there, just so that they can handwrite whatever saying they want to their loved ones. So yeah, it's a little bit more tricks there for you guys about card making and how to make it a little bit special. And definitely the metallic choices, oh my god, there's so many fun ones. Like I said, I've got a collection of different colors. These are definitely the thickest and the most brilliant of shimmers, but sometimes you want to have different colors or different options. The color shifts, oh my god, they're so much fun because they actually play on the lighting and pop up a little bit differently depending on what colors you use. Alright, so I actually use a lot of the green flash is one of my favorites. And then there's brushed metals. There's a few options with those. Those are quite nice as well. And then there's red flash, there's raspberry flash, there's pink flash. So depending on the tones that you want to play with. Dragon flash is another one of my favorites that I like to play with. Definitely the silver and the golds, you gotta have those. Those are like the two of the most important ones you gotta have. If you're gonna have anything, order just at least your silver and your gold. And then definitely, you can get blues and purples and more coppers and green shades. right? So yeah, they're so much fun. And then if you don't have loose glitter, you can get the glitterific that you can pop in, and this is really nice and chunky, gives you a little bit more pop into your design as well. And I play around with a lot of loose glitters, guys. You can find them pretty much anywhere. And then through the years, I used to do glitter tattoos in my salon. If you guys don't know me, I'm a retired beautician, and I used to dabble in a lot of different areas of makeup and all kinds of fun stuff for Halloween makeup. So we used to do glitter tattoos as well, and I ended up finding a bunch of empty bottles to pour my glitter into, so then that way it's a little bit more easy to focus it than something like this. Otherwise you need like a little tiny spoon or something to pull it out, or just use your fingers. And then the actual tattoo kit that I got actually had some nice glass bottles that came with it. So I've got a lifetime supply of glitter, guys. And yeah, you definitely can play around and have a lot of fun with it. And just to start off, if you guys seen, I did a little demo with this already. I use a Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. This is one of my favorite glues for giving me a super, super fine line. This product actually has a couple different nozzles in it, so you can, you know, depending on how fast you want the glue to come out. And I wash these out. It comes with a little pin that you can plunge it, make sure you get all that dry glue out there, so then that way this stays nice and really cool for you. So I was thinking after I made this pop-up that it just needs more. It needs more, so I thought I would share that with you, do it for you and show you. Let me see if I can get you guys a little closer here. There we go. Alright, so I want to add some dimensions here. Oops. And we can always test the flow on a little scrap paper to see how it's doing, right, if you want to test it. And then what I'm doing here now is I'm trying to find my front layer. I want to add a little bit of glitter, oops, right off the edge here a little bit. Oops, I knocked things over already. All right, just wiping off the edge of my nozzle here. And these pop-outs might be a little bit hard just to get right at the edge. Could have done this before you cut it too, if you wanted to. And so yeah, you can have so much fun with these guys. All right, make sure we have some peaks here. Keep turning this around so that I can keep my hand out of it. I'm trying to do this quick too, so I'm shaking a little bit, so I know some of you guys are just watching. I don't want to take too long. And then you guys can come back with the recording and play with some cards if you want, some reminders. Okay, so we've got all the inner area all done. And I'm just going to try and get this little dot out of there. Okay, and then you can choose whatever color you want. And I also have, like I said, this really brilliant white glitter. It's so, so cool. And I'm just going to use my fingers to sprinkle glitter on top of this wet glue here. And you just leave this aside and let it dry really, really, really good. And then you can dust off the loose glitter, and then whatever's wet, it'll stick to just the wet. So this is why I'm doing it in stages like this, right? You're going to do a bunch of cards, and you can come back and visit these ones. So first I did the red. I let that dry really good, and then I actually use a little vacuum to vacuum all of my glitter off. And then, or dust it off into a bucket, blow it outside in the wind. And then I'm using all cosmetic grade glitters here too, so they're a little bit more environment friendly. Definitely look into your glitter options, because there is a little bit of controversy about glitter in our water and stuff. Not good for our fish. But Yeah, so definitely you can, at this point, go and tap off the excess into a bucket. And then if you use it in a bucket, take off the excess, then you can kind of scoop it up and reuse it again. But I'm going to leave this definitely like this till it's completely dry. And then because my painting is dry and everything, then it'll only stay on the very, very edges. And then I have one of these attachments for my vacuum, and I would actually just brush it a little bit and vacuum up all that loose glitter so that it only stays on the areas that it's wet. So yeah, this gives this just that little extra pop it needed. What do you think, guys? Hey, do you agree with me? I needed to add a little bit more. Yeah, sure, I can show you that glue. Yeah, it's called Barely Art Glue. Right, it's not always good for everything. It's mostly a craft glue. Definitely some of the fabric glues that I use are a little bit different, right? So I do use specific glue for fabric. But it has so many wonderful features that I've seen. And not only the nozzle, guys, because any glue can probably work for this. And definitely this is one of the features that I love the most is this tiny little nozzle, because it just gives you the smallest little lines. And yeah, definitely it's a lot of fun. And sometimes I just use paint, right, with my glitter, and I'm going to show you guys that, a little demo with the wet paint. So I'm just going to pop this over to the side. Oh, there's those other cards. No, there's this. Okay, so we'll put this loose glitter here aside. And get out a nice cardstock for you. And sometimes when you're practicing with the metallics, definitely it does pop out a little bit more on black and darker colors. Right? And then what I find with them is that you gotta kind of mix a regular acrylic color with them. So then you get a contrast of that flat color with the shimmers. That really helps to pop them out. Okay, so one of my favorite blends to do is actually with the sap green. Right, and also the lighter color shift. So if you guys have never done the holly leaves before, okay, or double loaded your brush, okay, a lot of times we like to put two colors on our, sorry if I made you dizzy there, on our brush at the same time, so then that way we can blend, highlight, and shadow all in one stroke, and that's where we got our name. Okay, so I'm just going to dampen my brush just slightly with some water, and then I always like to squish it to make sure that I get a nice strong chisel that's really nice and thin. And then if you need a little bit of fluid or movement, right, to help that stroke slide a little bit more, then we use a product called Floating Medium, so then that way it's a little bit more the same integrity as the paint, and it doesn't change the thickness of it, because if you put water, sometimes you can't control how much you're putting, and then you might end up making it too wet. And you can also do that little mistake with the Floating Medium too, so it's like only as needed product, right? So a lot of times when our paint is fresh, you kind of pat it at the bottom, and you'll see your paint kind of fall down, right? And that's the thickness that you want. If your paint doesn't move down when you go and pat it on the plate, then obviously it's a little bit thick. And sometimes I'll end up putting a little bit of Floating Medium in there, because some of our paints sometimes are thick or gotten old, right? And then they definitely will start thickening up in the bottle as they age. So definitely make sure that your paint is at a good consistency. We want it to be thick, but not too thick. And some of the other paints out there definitely can be different consistencies, and or too thin, and it won't give you the coverage that you're looking for. Alright, so we're going to double load our two colors, and sometimes we'll put the piles right kind of close to each other, so then that way when we come in and sweep back and forth will actually pick up a little bit of both just along the edge of that bubble. So hopefully they're not too close together. If they're too far, that's not a problem either. Then you can just come over and dip and then make yourself a little blending pile here. And then you can come back here and grab fresh paint whenever you need it. So you want to make sure that your brush is loaded really good, so that way when you're pushing down, you're actually unloading the paint from up here, right? So some people don't push hard enough on their brush to get it blended really well. And then when they go to push down, they get a skimpy dryness, right? And that's going to happen anyways with the cardstock because it is so dry. Right, and different cardstocks are definitely a little bit more smoother. The higher quality ones definitely are a lot smoother and easier to paint. Alright, so with our holly leaves, we definitely have all these little peaks, and we have two sides to our leaf, and then we have a stem up the middle, right? So to get you started, sometimes we'll actually put like a little line where your vein's going to be. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then you can put two little ticks right here, like a little train track kind of feel, right? And then that way you have some guidelines here so that you can push up, get little peaks, come down a little bit, slide your brush up a little bit, add little peak, slide down, and then come over to your point. Okay, so depending on how big you make these, they will definitely look a little bit different. So depending if you're right-handed or left-handed, sometimes it is easier, especially when it's your wrong hand, right? So you've got to help yourself a little bit, turn your page a little bit more, so then that way you can actually slide your brush comfortably down a little bit, up to that point, slide to that point, up to your chisel, and then come back down. I'm trying to do this really slow, and then I come over and turn my brush a little bit to make a point. Okay, so that's a really small one. A little bit of pressure. All right, so when you're feeling comfortable, definitely you don't really need the train track anymore. Kind of decide how long you want to make your leaf. Can you guys see this okay? It's a little bit dark, eh? Let's see if I can get this turned up a little bit for you. That a little bit better? We're going to play on some lighter colors too, so that will help you. Any questions here? I don't want to miss any questions while you guys are watching. Okay, so if you want to make them a little bit bigger, you're going to put more pressure, right? But you want to make sure you're putting pressure on the green side too. You're not just drawing with your brush. You're putting pressure, so then that way you have coverage in the middle. Okay, and depending on how many little strokes you want to do, you can do 3, and then you're going to pull it to your point. Okay, so what I see a lot of times, and even myself in the beginning, oops, I put white in there, I don't know why, right, is that they're drawing. Right, so see the difference? You have all that space, and then you end up having to come in here and use your brush to kind of fill in the back. Okay, so the whole idea of the stroke work is being able to press on that brush when you want the thickness, and then pull down. Pull up, press, and then slide that chisel back. Press to the point, and then come back. Okay, so you see the difference between drawing with your brush as opposed to pressing that stroke in there. Okay. So then you can come over onto the other side. Again, press, pull back up on your chisel a little bit. I'm trying to do this really slow, so hopefully you guys can see. Press, pull back up on your chisel, pull forward, press. Okay, no problem to go back and add a little bit more paint, and then to your point. Okay, so you can use a liner brush or you can use the chisel of your brush to create lines too. Right? So depending on what's leading is going to show more. Right? So especially with the dark color here. So what I like to do to remind myself which direction, I'll put my dark to dark so that when I pull up through my leaf, I'm actually getting the light to show through. Right? And then on some of them I actually did little ticks. And you're just using the corner of your brush sometimes. Sometimes you're going to be very flat on your chisel, but then sometimes you want to just start on your chisel and then flick forward. So then that way you're only using the light side. Start on your chisel and then flick forward. So you're not dragging your hand, you're just flicking forward. Okay, and then you come up right so that these little, whoops, not too far in, get a little excited sometimes. Right? You can stagger them a little bit. They don't have to touch each other. You can be a little bit more, depending on your leaf, right? And they don't have to be exact on both sides. It actually looks better when they have a little bit of variety in them. Okay. And then if you need to come back over the front, you can always come back over and fix the edge in the center. So that way your back little stems kind of sit behind them again. Alright, so that's just a quick little demo on the leaves that I do. And again, they're going to be different colors. They might show a little bit more. And hopefully you guys are seeing this. This is definitely harder to show you guys on dark color. Okay, so I'm going to come over and grab some lighter colors here. Okay, so I'm going to paint on this nice green, light green. Maybe you guys will see a little bit more. So the poinsettias are definitely a little bit similar to the holly leaf. And one of my favorite blends that I just found here too, but played with poppies with a lot of different red tricks for you guys. If you want to play around with more red ideas, definitely consider other videos that I've done, especially the one with the poppies. Different ways to brighten it up. But one of my favorites is definitely the apple red. Nice and bright red. It has its challenges too. It's got a little bit of a translucent to it. But when you start mixing it with the color shifts, you definitely get a nice blend here too. So what I did a little bit differently was I made layers of my poinsettia. And the back layer I actually did just with the traditional paints. And then the front layers I actually added the raspberry flash to the top layer, so that way I can get that little bit more pop, right? Adds a little bit more dimension, because when you're working on darker colors, it's definitely a little bit more challenging to get those layering techniques to happen. Right, how you guys doing there? Who wants to win a free project? Hey Darlene, nice to see you. Come and join us. Hi, Lynn's here. Who else we got? Lisa's here. Laura's here. Tony's here. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me, guys, today. Alright, so I'm just going to rinse my brush real quick. Dampen it off on a towel. Squish, squish. I always squish my brush. Especially the smaller the brush, the more I squish it before I start loading my brush. And actually, I just want to show you guys another little trick here too, because I've been getting a lot of people asking me about chisels, and they're not getting nice points and stuff like that too. So maybe you guys will see a little bit better with some brighter colors here. Okay, so when I'm doing all these strokes, especially when you're doing like a lot of daisy strokes, your brush ends up getting squished and you don't have a nice chisel. Maybe your brush is old because you ended up flooded too much paint in inside the ferrule here. Now that's dried and it'll wreck the brushes, right? So if you want to do base coating or mixing colors, never use your stroke brush, right? Always use an old brush or use a palette knife to stir and mix. But you never want to flood your brush higher, because that's where problems happen with these great brushes. Any great brushes, doesn't matter if you buy cheap ones or expensive ones, you can wreck a brush just as fast. Okay, so what I want to do here now is decide, do I want my card to be this way or up and down, right? But actually what I ended up doing was creating it this way, and it ended up looking better this way. So sometimes you decide later. And then I would probably cover that. Then again, you know, depending on where you put your words, right? So I do have another way I put my words on there too. I'll show you guys. So most poinsettias have like 5 petals coming out and then more layers coming in. So if you want to start with a star pattern placement, you know, you could just put little ticks here to kind of guide you to see where you want to put them, and then that way they're a little bit more spaced out. So it's like a star pattern, right? Or gingerbread men, like our 5 petal flowers that we do. You got your head, your hands, and your feet. Right, so this way it kind of spices you out. I'm using a size 16 because I want to use a bigger brush to try and do a smaller stroke. Right? Instead of using a smaller brush and then stretching it, trying to make it bigger, sometimes it's better to use a bigger brush and then use a tiny bit of pressure. Okay? So with the poinsettia, I do these similar style kind of petals, but I try to make them a little bit wider at the base. Then I come in a little bit more narrow, and then to the point. Right, so it tries to make them look a little bit different than the holly leaf. Right, again, pull, pressure, pull back, a little bit smaller, and then to the point. Okay, so you don't have to work as hard. A lot of people end up with 2 small brushes. Okay. Then I'm going to come over and grab all the outside skirts. And I'll show you guys a little trick too, what I like to do to save time. And how many times are you going to flip your brush around? Sometimes I'll go around and I'll do all the same side. Right? And it's kind of easy. Get your placement. Okay, so when you're coming to pull your stroke, make sure you're coming a little bit more flat. So that what you're doing is you're not only loading the color, you're actually flattening out your brush so that you can get that nice chisel again. Alright, again, a little bit dry on the edge. That's when I may decide to add just that little bit of floating medium on the corner of my brush that's doing most of the work. Alright. Then once I get all my halves done, then I'll come back. Oops, try not to glob on my way out. Okay. Right, so you got your star pattern there, then you can come back and do the other side. Made that one a little bit skinny, because they had less room. So you can come out a little bit wider. And they don't have to be all cookie cutter, guys, right? A lot of people try to be like a photocopier, right? You don't have to be a photocopier. And so this kind of speeds things up. A little bit close to my pink melon pile. Okay, so the back ones I can make a little bit longer and a little bit skinnier because we're going to be layering another layer on top. Okay, so I like making them all different lengths. So, you know, you really don't have to be so perfect. So what I'm doing now is if I have any globs of thickness from my pink melon, my middle color, I'm just kind of smoothing them out. Okay. So now that I've got my brush loaded, I'm just going to wipe off the excess. But I want to come in now and grab some of this raspberry flash. Okay, so you just come over and side load into your puddle. Right, it's a little bit thicker paint, and it definitely strings sometimes, so you have to be careful with these metallics. Right, come over, and then now I'm going to start making my other layer, and this is going to cross on top. Right, another 5-petal flower, but this time you can just make them a little bit smaller. Right? And again, I'm trying to do one at a time, but a lot of times, you know, try to not move your stuff as much. I will go and just start doing half over here. And then when you're making your petals sometimes smaller on one side and longer on the other side, it will also throw the view. Okay, I'm not getting a good, nice bright color. I want to come over and tip a little bit sometimes too. Okay, so then I'm coming in, oops, over here with my metallics. And like I said, you guys that are interested in learning more, if I'm going too fast for some of you, like I said, I'd love to show you more at our monthly meet and greet. Okay, so a little bit of flair. Maybe it went off a little crooked. I like it. Just leave it, right? So let's see. Can you guys see this metallics popping up now? A little bit, eh? Oops, I get excited. Filming is not a good thing to do and paint at the same time sometimes. Alright, so there we go, we forgot one. Come over here. Ooh, pressure. You see what happens if you don't have enough pressure? I even do it to myself, guys, sometimes. Right, I have to go back, put pressure on it. Pull. Oh, more pressure. Right, because you can tell you don't have enough pressure if you're not covering the whole center. Right. So now we've got our poinsettia. Okay. Now this is wet, so if I go and put my dots on here right now and I want to add glitter to it, the glitter is going to attach itself to everything. Okay, so you definitely wait to do your centers. Right, so if you have a bunch of cards you want to do all the same, you would do all your poinsettias on a bunch of cards, and then you come back to it, and then you can change colors, right? You can multitask a little bit and do a variety of cards, right? And then we're going to come over and grab some of this color shift and sap again, and then now we can pop out some leaves. Right, so they're a little bit smaller in a cluster. Maybe there's some leaves that are underneath that flower, so you don't always have to make them all big, right? You definitely make some a little bit smaller than others. You got more room. Okay, so let's cover this mess here. Okay, so you see how I put a little bit of pressure at my point area. Down, and then when you're coming up, you're kind of doing like a little bit of a curve to your point. Okay. You try not to pick up too much dark to get a little bit less of those globs happening. Okay, so if I want to put my name over here or whatever you want to say over here, definitely you want to leave room for them, right? So you're trying to build your card over to the side here a little bit more. Trying to hold my card down so it doesn't pop. Sometimes I'll put 3 on one side, 2 on the other side. Really, guys, change it up. Make them look unique. Okay. Then when you're done, you can put your stems in there. You can decide not to put those little extra ones in there if you don't want to. All right, just leave them like that. That looks really pretty too. And then what I like to do too sometimes is I'll come over, pick up a little bit of white. And then we can make some little pine needles, right? So you might need a little bit more floating medium in there so it can slide. So you see how thick that was? And then let me show you again. Press, get that chisel going really nice and thin for you. Then when you pull, flick up, same way as I was showing you earlier, you're kind of flicking up, right? So you're just kind of bending your brush back so that you're just using the chisel of the brush. Okay, so you can always add a few of those little pine needles in there. Alright, change that up a little bit. Put some more berries in there. What I like to do too is sometimes come down in my brush size. I'll pick up an 8 or a 6. And then this is where if I want to pop in just a little bit more, I can always come in and grab my treasure gold. Okay, and what I like to do with these guys too, if I'm not multi-loading with them, if I just want to pop in some nice little leaves, right, I actually can shake my bottle up here a little bit and just work right out of my lid. And what I'll do is I'll just grab a few, because you just want to do a few strokes. You can always pull out some of this treasure gold and put it on your plate. All right, sometimes I'll just grab a bit, work it into my brush a little bit, and then do some nice little one-stroke leaves. Oops. Keep that still for you. Alright, so you can pull out a little stem, depending on how many leaves you want to put. And then add some of these dainty little one-stroke leaves in here as well. Right. Hold down your cards so they stay still. Right. Something like that. Right. I said this paint sometimes strings, it'll come and follow you behind if you have a bit of a gloop, so just try to be careful. Alright. Alright, what do you think? Fun and easy? How long did that take me, really? And I was trying to do it slow because I had to show you guys. So it definitely can be fun and easy. Alright, love the treasure gold, eh? Yeah, so pretty. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, the pink melon definitely gives it a nice softness without adding the white. Because I find if you add white to your red, then you'll definitely get like a pinky look. And then definitely if you want to have a little bit more warmer color, you can definitely add some yellow into it, right? Highlight with on the outside, because usually we do a lot of light strokes where we're doing the poinsettias or different flowers. Usually it's always with the white on the outside, right? Which could be pretty too. Alright, so then you're trying to do it a little bit more pinkier style. Alright, so again, showing you my little tricks, right? Once you feel comfortable, then you start getting, you're just going to start putting it down there. Okay, so again, putting down on my one side. And then what I like about doing one side at a time, a little bit more red, is that I can layer a little bit more too, right? So you're going to practice all your strokes going upside down, right side sideways, and then you won't have to flip your plate so much, okay? Or your paper so much. Okay. All from the center. Let's try to show you guys another quick one here. Alright, so you're definitely going to have a lot more light. And then when you do it this way, you can actually layer a little bit more too, right? So I can layer this petal right on top. So that's why I like doing one side at a time, because then I can definitely do some different styles. Right, then I can layer some more. Traditionally, we do a lot of light on the outside. So this definitely is a lot more brighter. Right. So you just want to use, you don't have the metallics. Oops. Trying to do this quick for you guys. Right, put out this side. And we'll put one right down at the bottom. There's another quick one there for you, like I said, with the white on the edge. And then what I like to do too is with the silver treasure gold as well. I like using that with white. Okay, so some of my cards, I made them really simple, guys, just with a few holly leaves and some berries. You know, and then some I did very monochromatic style. And we'll try to find some room on our plate to put some of the silver. And that's when I like using the little bit darker colors. So hopefully you guys are seeing a little bit more with the different color paper. We want to make these nice and big. If you want to put more than one, then definitely you can change to a smaller brush. Alright, squish, make sure I got most of that water out of there. Come over and grab some white. And not usually a good idea to come and blend on the side of your plate like this, on the angle, but I'm going to hit my floating medium. So I'm just trying to be careful just to grab some edge of that silver. You see that string? Now this could be fun if you want to do this on purpose. right? You let those strings come. So I ended up doing with the one card. I just said, well, let's go for it. Okay, so let me show you another poinsettia here quick again. Okay, so you're always going to use a little bit of regular color with the metallic on the outside. Okay, if you want to finish this. Okay, so you want to leave a little bit of a room so that you can layer, right? So you want to come away from your center a little bit when you're starting these back petals. Come over, tip a little bit more silver if you're not getting a nice edge of bright metallic. I always find I sometimes have to either really side load into my puddle or dip. A little bit wider, wider. Okay, so I'm a little bit not covered here at the base. That's okay. I'm probably going to layer more on there. Okay, so again, trying to make this back layer a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. Okay, always pushing forward, forward, back, forward with the pressure, back, and then forward. It looks really pretty with the white, eh? Try not to keep flipping my paper on you. Okay. But you got to keep your hands out of the wet paint sometimes too, so that forces you to keep moving things. Alright, can you guys see that good? And poinsettias can be definitely a lot of different colors. Right, and then this is where you can always add a little bit of glitter to these edges. Right, brick layering. Tip a little bit more silver. So I hope you guys are going to share your cards that you've made in our group, or tag me if you want to share it on your profile. I'd love to see them all. If you guys are just joining me now, definitely stay on to the end. We got a free project for you guys. Add a little bit more white. Starting to lose my white color. Cards are a great way to practice. You know, like I said, if they don't turn out, you can always take your best strokes and make pop-out cards out of them. Make little gift tags, cut them in tiny little squares, and stick them onto your gifts. Okay, see how I'm really trying to stay a little bit away from me. And then now I can come in and change my center location here right to the very center. And if I want to add a little bit more, you can actually even change to a different color. So let's change to the white. And let's do gold. Okay, just be very careful how you pick them up. And then this might add another little bit of a small little element, right? Because when you're layering the same color over and over, you know, you sometimes lose some of that color, right? definition. And then you can try and make some smaller ones inside. So you're slowly going to come smaller and smaller inside. Right. And sometimes I don't even always put a whole traditional pointy one. I'll just kind of put in like a little leaf kind of wiggly kind of ones as we're getting smaller and smaller. Right, to give it a little bit more unique look. You can make them really tiny. Right. There's always going to be some little tiny buds in the center of these flowers too, right? Some that are a little tiny. Okay. And then you can always do some dip dots. And if you don't like the glitter, like some people don't like glitter, right? So you can always just do some dip dots into your back of your brush handle, right? Leave them like that. Depending on the types of leaves that you want to put in there, right? And you put more holly leaves in there, or you can even just add more of those more one-stroke leaves. Right. Tiny stems. And like I said, if you want to add more dots with glitter, then we gotta let these guys dry. Alright, just these little flashes of one-stroke leaves out is all you need sometimes. So quick and easy. Especially just with the one color. I'm just gonna give you a couple different color options there for you guys today. How you guys doing? You still hanging with me? That's so awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I love the blue cards. This has got like a little bit of a shimmer on the cardstock too, so it adds just that little bit more, you know, festive feel. Okay, so we can let that dry. And then let's go back to these cards we started earlier. Okay, so this is really good and dry now. Alright, so if you want to add, depending on what color of glitter or pop you want in there, you can definitely, we have some gold accents in there, so we'll play around with the gold. You can just use the treasure gold if you want as a base as well. Any paint will work, right? But you want to try to have a little bit of similar color that what you're going to do. So if I was going to do blue, then I might use some blue paint and then add the blue glitter, right? So then that way if there's any space where your glitter's not covered, then at least the color of the dots are going to be the same. So now that everything else is really good and dry, I can come in here now. Add, alright, so I want some nice big ones, but now I'm going to dot a couple times very lightly so that I can get some really tiny ones in there too. Okay, so this is while it's wet. You want to make sure it's not going to stick. Oops. A little bit of dry paint in there, pal. Right, so I'm just taking a clean, wet brush just to clean that up a little bit. Make sure it's dry, because if it's dry, wet, it's gonna stick. And then you just lightly pop out your glitter. You want a good amount on the thicker paint, right? So then that way it really helps to start setting into that paint. And again, patience. I know you want to see it, but really, I just leave it like this. Let it dry really good, and then come with my vacuum to pop up the extra. Okay. And then when you set this aside to dry and you vacuum it, then you get these really beautiful clean dots, right? And the glitter is nowhere else, only on these dots. And then with this one, I decided to put some more dots and some more scroll work. Okay, so we teach all the scroll work and everything all in my beginner program, guys. How many VIPs do I have here with me today? Put VIP in the comments. Yeah, definitely. It's good to watch and see what I'm up to and then come back and make a plan of what you're going to do. You know, that's wonderful. You guys can pop in and visit with me this morning. I was wondering how many guys are around during the day. Hopefully you're going to catch the replay after work if you're working. But yeah, that's basically all it is. And then if you guys give me 1 second, I got one more thing to show you. For you guys that don't have stencils to put the Merry Christmas in there, what I did, a lot of this cardstock actually is thin enough to go in your printer. So you just open up a Word document and then print out what you want to say, right? Try to move it down so that way when you're printing it, it's coming down on your bottom corner, or you may have to flip your words if you have a little bit more Word document experience. You know, you can move them down, but you can also just print them at the bottom of the page somewhere, try to shove it to the right, and then when you fold it in half, you've got your little saying here already done. I'm a terrible handwriter, guys. I should have been a doctor. So definitely I'm always looking for ways, especially the smaller the writing, the harder it is to do. You're doing nice big signs, definitely it's a little bit easier, especially when you got your detailer brush, you know, but definitely this small gets really challenging to do it really nice and neat. You can print off these really quickly, a bunch of different sayings, happy holidays, happy New Year's, miss you, happy birthday, whatever card you want to make, and then just paint on them, guys. All right, so that's the easiest way to do it, is just print them. All right, and other than that, if you feel like you really want to put in, you know, if you get the stencil kit, this kit here actually I bought over Amazon, I think it was, or Michael's. You know, you can try and Google some small little words, and then if you want to put that in there, then you can always pop in. Do I have more room on this one? So make sure that everything is really good and dry. All right, then you can always put your stencil on there. And then what I like to use too is a scruffy brush, or if you have, Donna has a really nice set of fabric stenciling brushes is what I like to use too. All right, so you want to make sure that you don't put too much of paint on your brush. I'm looking for my towel, that towel. Okay, so a napkin or an old towel rag that you're going to throw away. Really, really important. Okay, you can use a little bit of tape to hold this down. I'm just going to try and do this quickly and hold it still. Okay, and then I'm going to come over with my stenciling brush. You can use a sponge. I've showed you a couple different ways. I always try to kind of show you something different, right? So this is a really nice brush to come in and pounce your paint inside. Try not to swirl or wipe or swipe. It's all straight up and down. And then you can pull that up really carefully, and you've got your words perfect every time. Right? And then if I wanted to add a little bit more pop to it, right, I can, while it's wet, I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of glitter on top of the wet words. Try not to get glitter all over my desk. Alright. Then you'll see that this will stick to the wet paint. And like I said, it's still wet, so I wouldn't vacuum this to get off the excess until it's completely done. Alright, and then you can finish this card. I'll finish that card later. Alright guys. So this is starting to dry a little bit more. You can always take another little brush, dust it off. Right. And then you'll see that it's just on the edge only. That's another fun way to pop them up. So we're giving you lots to play with, guys, lots of ideas to get your cards all done for Christmas or whatever holiday that you're celebrating this time of year. I know there's a few different ones around. And pop up your cards. Doesn't matter if you're doing birthday cards, roses. Alright, you like those? Yes, Sue was one of my original gang, my OGs. I'm so happy to see you here today. Gotta get you painting with us again soon, eh? I miss you. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for popping in today. I'm glad I didn't have any freezing issues. You guys got me here good today. Got good streaming abilities going on today. So pop this into the water so that way it's easier to clean. And then if you guys want to win a prize, I want to show you guys too, just in case you haven't seen this. This is something I did like so long ago, like 2016. I wanted to do a Lucky Charm Scottish theme for my mom. And so this is a little bit of our heritage here. I want to share with you some thistles, and I was my attempt to making heather and the bellflowers, and then I kind of went a little crazy and I covered up my horseshoe a little too much, right? So I want to redo this design here again, but I did have a lot of fun with this background, guys. It was so fun to do, and we popped a little bit of metallics in that as well. And I used a different sponge for that one. So hopefully you're going to join me. It's tomorrow. It's still time to sign up. And remember my VIPs, you always get your discount as well. So make sure you log in to see that. And then I just want to kind of show you guys, I used a sea sponge for that background. Okay, so hopefully you guys have something like that, a little bit different. It's really textured, and that was what you're gonna do for tomorrow night if you have them, to get that background to look like that. Okay, so it's lots of fun. I used to do that technique on nails too. All right, thank you again for joining me today. I'm so excited to share this project here with you. Okay, so there should be a message option on my page. What I want you to do is message me and say, yes, I saw you live, and I would love to get the free holiday chickadee project. Okay, so this will be really fun to paint on a card too, guys. All right, practice. All right, try to make them a little bit smaller. And yeah, I'd love to give that away free. And then also for you guys that still need more work, definitely I have a 30% off coupon to go with today for the complete program. I have 14 courses plus boot camp and lots of bonus projects. It's a $245 package deal that I've done with all those courses. It only works out to be, what did I say, $12.50 or something like that a course by the time you get all the bonuses and everything in this package deal. You can get these courses separately if there's something that you just want to hone in on. Particularly, you can get just the download of that course number 7 or 8 if you really want to. You can definitely do that in the downloadables. But definitely this package deal, I really highly recommend it because it's going to give you right from the beginning all the baby steps. Maybe you have a little bit of experience, but there's something that you're just not getting, and it could be something that I'll show you in the first couple courses. So definitely it's got lots to offer right from the beginning right up to advanced. Okay, this does not just go for beginners, because once you get into those higher levels, like 13 and 14, especially when I'm getting you to practice with small brushes and scroll work, color theory, and then there's 5 more courses of days that we did in the boot camps that are all added to there as well. So yeah, lots, and then the private group now for mentoring, private messaging me, VIP discounts. My VIPs actually are saving 50% off on all projects right now. All right, so definitely there's some perks to be a VIP. You're not just taking a quick course with me and it's done and over with. It's ongoing. I'm always there for you. Maybe you had to take some time off to move or, have some family stuff go on and you just don't have the time. It's lifetime access. You come back a year later if you really had to and start practicing again. Because I know life gets in its ways. And definitely I've had my struggles and moves and things like that set me back, and then I had to kind of start over again. And we've changed the days of our lives. If you guys are seeing some of my older videos, I talk about, join me on Wednesdays or Tip Tuesdays or whatever, but I just kind of changed them up depending on our schedules, and give you lots of warning when I'm going to come and do another live with you. So message me, say yes, I want a free project, and then I will send you the link to be able to download it or add you to site member access. So I can ask you more questions once we start chatting on Messenger, and then, or message me and say you want the 30% off my complete program. All right. It doesn't stop there, guys, because I want to give you this program free if you really, really, really want to get certified. I've got some deals going on right now. I've got 3 packages left that are left over from a big bunch that I pre-bought. And they're sitting there waiting at the dewberries for you. Right? So you can even just put a down payment if you want, right, to get started. And then every month we can, get that payment done. And then when you've completely done all your payments, then we can get started. So if you want to do it that way, please contact me. I'm willing to work with you guys. And then definitely when you give me your first deposit, I'll ask as a $200 deposit to get started. And then you're going to actually save $100 off. Plus, you're going to get my 14 courses free. All right. I really want to make sure you guys are ready for these levels. So through all my program, definitely there's lots more practice that you can do to help you. And then with these CERT programs, we are going to be doing one-on-one Zooms with you as well. So, there's lots that you can do on your own time. And then meet with me to really pick my brain and troubleshoot and hone down on what little particular things that you're doing. All right, guys. So again, message me. There's a little bit more information, and depending on the cert, if you want to do level 1, level 2, or the new level 3, or even oversized, guys, I can do oversized with you too. And Skill Builders is available. We can do level 1 via Skill Builders. That's an awesome way to get through your levels as well. So I want to do that for you guys, is give you my program free, right? Those ones that are doing the cert, it's a little bit more an investment. I want to give you a little bit more of a special and give you a free program to go with it to help. How does that sound, guys? All right. So definitely send me a message, please. Okay. And or if you want to email me, it's Ascision, my last name. It's a little bit different. I have to put it down here for you guys. ASCHISON. A lot of people can't even say my last name, never mind spell it. gmail.com. Right, so just look down in the description of the YouTube. If I put it down there, you'll find it. All right, so that's my email if you guys want to email me. I know some of you don't always want to put your email in the feeds. And definitely message me or send me an email would be wonderful. Let me know what you're interested in, and definitely to pick up your prize of the Chickadee Project. Okay? That's free for you guys. All right, so can't wait to see your cards, guys. Please check out, if you're not part of our student group yet, that's one for everybody. Anybody, you can join me in that group. And then also, once you're a VIP, I will add you to the other special group that we have. And I'm going to even come and visit you guys live there too sometimes. Eh? What do you think about that? Would you like me to do a live in our private little group? Yes, I'll come and do some lives or meet you guys all on Zoom. We'll have a special Christmas just for my VIPs, I think. All right, how does that sound? All right, well, I'll post some dates in December, and we'll definitely get together and have a nice VIP class. Okay, just for you guys. Thanks so much, guys. Have a happy, creative day. And we'll see you next time, okay? See ya.